Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Warley Live on a Wednesday. Sorry we missed a few weeks. I've been back at work the last few weeks, and it's sort of it's caught up with me. I think this is working with Larky full time is it's hard work. I'm not used to this working. So yeah, we've had a couple of weeks off, but we're back today, and we're back with a Mr. Steve Flint. So I'll bring Steve into the stream. Hiya, Steve.
Yes, hi there. Good afternoon, everyone. If there's anybody out there listening,
we've got some watching. We've got some watchers already.
Good.
So, how you doing? How you keeping?
Well, as you can see, I'm at home. You can see my old, just sort of where is it up there? My old analog hi-fi system, which I still use from time to time. Notice there's a modelling. There we go. Where is it gone? There's a modelling vice on top. Look, and there's even a hat there on top of that speaker. That hat I was given at the Great Model Railway Challenge two years back, and I've kept it. So there we go.
Well,
I'm at home, working from home.
Well, living in sunny Devon, you always need a hat. It never rains down there, does it?
Well, it absolutely chucked it down yesterday. Yeah.
So, what's been happening at Peco and Railway Modeller? Can we talk about that?
Railway Modeller. Let's have a look. Well, here's the latest issue. That's what day is it? Wednesday. It should be out in the shops tomorrow, and the subscribers will already have their copy. It's the usual size. We've not got a free booklet this time, and you're not going to believe this, but you're gonna have to do something. Somebody just knocked at the damn door. You keep talking a minute. I'll be back.
Okay. So while Steve goes, I'd like to welcome everyone who's joining the stream. So Crossways Point Junction, welcome. So welcome to the stream. Obviously, if you've got any questions for Steve while he's talking, put them in the chat, and we'll try and get those answered for you. Should be should be an interesting episode. Again, I've still not sorted my lighting out in the office. I've still got too much light behind me, and there's a light above me, but I'm still very much in shadow. So at some point, I will get this sorted. It's just time. It's just it's quite busy. What's things going on for the club.
Right, sorry about that. That was totally unexpected. It wasn't I can assure you. So
okay.
Where were we before I was so rudely interrupted?
So you're just talking about the modeler that's coming out this month. So you got the
right. Yes. As I say, it's out tomorrow with all the usual railway modelling information in. Does Chris Morris watch this channel?
Chris does watch, yeah.
Yes, we've got him in. Look, there's Chris with his Dawlish Warren N-gauge layout. Now that reminds me, if there's any N-gaugers out there listening, we're always looking out for some good N-gauge layouts. They seem to be a bit scarce these days. I don't know why, but all right, maybe 00 is mainstream, but N-gauge layouts, we're always on the lookout. So if you've got something in N-gauge that you'd like to see in the pages of Railway Modeller, let us know. Usual way, email or telephone, although the telephones, because of the COVID situation, it's a bit difficult to track us down by telephone. So start with an email. And I suppose they usually say, and the email will be given at the end of this programme. But on this occasion, I'll just say it's railway-modeller@btconnect.com. And Callum Wilcox, who sometimes joins us on this programme, we'll receive that and we'll take it up and take it from there. So engagers, give us a call. We'd love to hear from you.
Can you just repeat that email address now?
Okay then, are you ready?
Yep.
Railway-modeller.
Yep.
@btconnect.com. Are you typing it in, are you?
Yeah. There you go.
Anyway, interestingly, that's it. Well done. Interestingly, this issue is the last issue that I'm editing. Now, that might sound a little bit of a stunning statement. It's not that I've given up or gone off on holiday or retired or whatever, but we've decided to do a slight change in the administration. And as from the July issue, that's month's time, Craig Tiley will be taking over as editor, and I'm stepping to one side to work as senior editor. Now, this means that being of retirement age, I can actually take a little bit of time off. So I'm not going to be there full time, but I will be looking after submissions management. So all the submissions that come through, we'll be able to look at and allocate to one or other future issue. That it's quite important, that, because this last 12 months where we've all been separated in our different houses has meant that keeping track of all the submissions as we, we've got a bit behind on all that. So we've decided that we're going to give that priority, and that's going to be one of my major tasks in my new role as senior editor. So Craig Tiley will be taking over the month-by-month production, and we hope it'll be seamless. And you can read a little bit about that in the editorial. One or two other changes as well, and although we're still waiting to be finally confirmed, Tim Rayner, our production editor, he unfortunately suffered an illness last year, nothing to do with COVID, but he needed an operation, and he is on Facebook actually, so if you follow him on Facebook, he's probably told you all about it. But he's decided to take early retirement as a consequence. So Tim will be stepping down, and Tim has done a sterling job over the last 30 years, actually, because he joined in 1989, it was, as assistant editor to John Brewer. And he kept the magazine going when poor old John suffered a stroke back in about 1992. So Tim has got an awful lot of experience, and he's done an awful lot of writing for the magazine. So whilst he's retiring, we hope that he'll probably continue to write a few things for us. So that's the changes. They're only minor changes. We want to make it absolutely seamless so that our readers can, follow the mag. Just as I always say, a magazine should be like a comfy pair of slippers. So you shouldn't go and change it like that overnight. Otherwise, people will think, what on earth have you been doing?
Yeah.
And that's always been my approach to running the magazine ever since I took over as editor in 2008. Right, okay, so what about the magazine itself and the last 12 months? Well, it's not been easy, of course. The shops all shut down 12 months back. You could just about get a copy in WH Smith's if you were lucky, and Tesco's and some of the supermarkets. So there was quite a dip in sales, and we did actually have, as a consequence, a huge spike in subscription orders. People taking out annual subscriptions for 12 months, 24 months, or 6 months, or whatever. So whilst we lost a few sales in the shops due to the COVID pandemic, we did pick up quite a few new subscribers who get it directly delivered to their door every month. So whilst it's been a bit of a roller coaster, and the fact that we were all spread out in our houses, it was quite a task to pull it all together. We did manage to get the magazine out every month on time, and gradually, of course, as the years rolled by and everyone's got used to these restrictions and lockdowns and what have you, we've managed to pick up back almost to pre-COVID levels, and that's really cheering, really. And of course, the hobby being a home-based hobby, club-based as well, but essentially it's you can do it at home, and when you're locked down, it's an ideal thing to help take your mind off all the worldly problems outside and get on with your hobby. And that has been reflected through a lot of correspondence we've received at Railway Modeller over the
Absolutely.
past
Well,
12 months.
we picked up a few, 4 or 5 new members in the last couple of weeks, which I think it just shows people want to get back out and meet up again. I think we've had 12 months of being locked away. It'd be nice to get back and start seeing people and interacting with people again.
Indeed. And I think one of the big questions, I don't know whether you've got anybody to talk about it, is how the exhibition circuit will get back to its normal or reasonably normal situation. It's going to be a tricky one, I believe, even if social restrictions are completely removed, and we get back to a normal situation. There's still going to be some people, some elements of the population will be a bit wary about going back to crowded events like that. So I don't know what plans the Warley people have got. We usually have a meeting around about June time to tell us something coming up soon.
Hopefully, to be fair, we don't know anything until we hear from the NEC. Nigel and myself talk to the NEC on a regular basis, and Nigel and myself are talking on a regular basis about what we're going to do, how we're going to try and facilitate the crowds, really, because it can be a bit busy sometimes. But we just got to wait on the NEC. I think the government's roadmap seems to be going to plan at the moment. So touch wood, we just got to hope everything continues and we get to go ahead. Whether we have restrictions in place at the time, we don't know until it happens, really. Well, at least till July, I think. Hopefully we'll know more in July. And then we'll be able to talk to you guys and the sponsors, and then it'll be a case of drip feed the information out to everyone else involved. But
yes, it's going to be a big hurdle, I think, to overcome, because we're not really sure. Organisers are not going to be really sure as to how many people are going to turn up and whether it'll be viable. Each show, particularly Warley, of course, has a break-even number through the door. And
absolutely.
Several, if not 10 or more thousand, probably at Warley. So that's a big number to get through the door just to break even.
Absolutely.
So I think it's important that everyone, works out, does the sums, and makes sure that shows can get back on a viable footing.
Absolutely.
Anyway, that's the next thing, isn't it?
Absolutely. So while we're talking about obviously Peco, how's Peco getting on with production and with everyone working from home? How's the business coping?
Okay. Well, in the publications department, as I've said, we've all been working from home because it's quite easy to do through the magic of digital communications and Wi-Fi. As long as it works all the time, sometimes it doesn't function. And I always worry that because I've got in the corner of my front garden a telegraph pole with a wire on it that brings the mains power and the Wi-Fi cable into the house. If we have a thunderstorm and it gets struck, that's it. There's nothing we can do. No power, no Wi-Fi. So I always keep my fingers crossed that nothing fails. But the publication side have all been working from home, and we've kind of managed successfully. As you can see, I'm not shaving regularly, and my hair's ready for cutting too. So it has its advantages as well as its disadvantages. But as far as the production side is concerned, very little of that could be done from home. Certainly, David Moulton and his design team, they've been working from home on the design side. But when it comes to manufacture and assembly, all the equipment, the tooling, and everything is in the factory. So Ben Arnold, our managing director, and his team. Tim Vincent in the factory manager there, they had to come up with a plan whereby all the factory staff could undertake their duties under the socially distancing arrangement. And this involved relocating people around the site. If you've been down to Pecorama site, you may know there was a restaurant up at the top in the gardens there. And also there was a playroom for young children. You know, there was a ball pool and climbing frames. Well, all that was taken out because obviously we had no customers. So there was all this space doing nothing. And the manufacturing activities were restructured such that all the staff could work in a socially distanced way. And elements of production took place all around the site. Now, one problem we did have, of course, is that we have supplies from various companies of materials and bits and pieces, track, rail, you know, that all has to come in. Excuse me a minute. And of course, this tended to dry up, as a lot of things did during the pandemic. So, whilst the shops were still had product on their shelves, they were selling out quickly via mail order and ordering new stocks. So we had to set about as best as we possibly could to fulfill all these orders. And it's really been a heck of a catch-up. And some aspects from our catalogue, from our range, haven't been available for a while. But all efforts are being made, sterling efforts by all the staff in the factory at all levels to get production back up. Because, as I said earlier, there was a big demand. People at home decided to dig out their kits and start building them and start ordering more. And it, as an aside, it even prompted me to have a rummage through the cardboard boxes that I've carted around with me for the last 40 odd years and get on with some modelling. And just as an aside, I've got this little box. I'd be interested to know if anybody else can remember these kits. 3H mouldings. They came out in the 1970s, about 1976, maybe 77. And the late Roy Jackson was involved with it. You know, Roy Jackson, who built Retford in 4mm scale. Look at the price. Where's it gone? 276. Well, I carted that unmade kit around with me all those years, and I finally managed to build it in a bit of spare time that I had. And it's not painted yet. Anyway, where's the camera gone? It's all in black, so it's not showing up very well. But as you can see, I've managed to get the brake gear on. I even put some sprung buffers on, look. That I had also in the box for 40 years. So there we go. There's a little London and Northeastern Railway wagon. But one day, the roofs just fell off. The one day that will appear on a small London Northeastern branch line layout that I want to build. And I have actually got two ready to run locos on order. One is the auto coach, the NER auto coach that Rails of Sheffield have produced in conjunction with Helgen. I'm still waiting for that. I think there's been some colour samples have been published. And TMC up there on the North Yorkshire Moors in Goathland, they are producing in conjunction with Bachmann a G5 locomotive, an 044 tank locomotive of the Northeastern Railway. And I've actually ordered two of them, one in Northeastern Railway livery, and I think the other one, it's such a long time since I ordered, I think it was an LNER livery was the other one I ordered. So there's, you know, lots going on in the model world, and even me, who hasn't really done any proper modelling since I took over editing the magazine, I've managed to find a bit of time to get on with some. So there we go. So yes, just to answer your previous question without any more diversions, Peco Products, the manufacturing side, has managed very, very well, considering, by spacing out all the operations and doing their absolute utmost to fulfill the orders that have been teeming through from all the shops.
That's it. I think there's a lot of new people coming to the hobby.
Well, quite possibly, yes, yeah. That may well be the case. We've said I can only reflect the new people who've come on with subscriptions for the Railway Modeller, and of course our trade manager Steve Haynes, who did the presentation at the last Warley virtual event last November. He could only reflect on what's happening to the traders, the model shop owners and proprietors. But I think we have seen an inflow of newcomers, and there's also a lot of products out there, often aimed at the newcomers, such as this new Hornby HM6000 controller, which allows an analog train to be controlled by a mobile phone. So we'll have to see how that performs. That might bring in a few people, especially the youngsters who like to control things using their phone.
I think so, because it's a new idea, and kids are used to tablets and phones and technology. So if it encourages them, it's going to be a good thing, hasn't it? Really.
Oh yes, yes. I did see that a prototype of that system the last time I went to Hornby, and I think it was December 2019. I'm sure it was back then, and they were demonstrating the prototype of it, and so it's finally coming to market. I'll have to have a word with Craig to see whether we've got a review sample yet. But that's a new development that takes the hobby into new areas, definitely.
Absolutely. And young Callum is obviously a Warley member as well. Are you keeping him busy?
I believe we are. Yes, yeah. Yes, we've been employing Callum as both a model maker and a writer and an editor, and he's been with us now for just over 18 months or thereabouts. And unfortunately, because we all ended up away in our different homes, we've not been able to, coach him in the way that we wanted to. But he's an absolutely fantastic modeler, and he's done a lot of construction and conversion work in his articles, and we're keeping him very busy doing that. He's building a layout in his home. He's moved down to the area from Bristol, where he lived before, and he's building a layout based on I think it's called Watery Bottom Viaduct or something.
Somerset and Dorset.
On the Somerset and Dorset. That's it. Yeah. So we're keeping him busy, and he's helping Craig out considerably with the reviews and the news pages, as well as writing all the modelling articles as well.
Yeah, he's quite good to follow on YouTube. He's got some fantastic little videos he's brought out, and
yes, that's right, and that's one reason why we took Callum into our team, because he's got experience in the digital world, the modern digital world, which is a bit new to the aging old cronies like me, So yes, he does the video. He puts the videos together quite well, very well, in fact, and we're working through that side, which is very much new to Peco, because Peco Publications is quite a traditional company that's that cut its teeth on traditional manufacturing and publishing. So we are gradually working in those areas now, which are fairly new to us, and we seem to be holding our own. Certainly, Railway Modeller is still the #1 seller amongst the competition, and one or two people keep telling me that we're doing really well and knocking the spots off the competition. What better accolade can you have?
Absolutely. And you've got Peco TV as well now, haven't you? So you've got your own sort of TV show, regular show.
Well, yes, that's right. That is Steve Haynes, our sales manager, has taken that on board to help show the world how to put the kits and models together. And he is managing that section as well. So yes, we are embracing the digital world of communications in a way that suits Peco, I think. If only we could, be a bit more forceful, I think we could probably do quite a bit more. But it all takes time.
Absolutely. Rome wasn't built in a day. So Pecorama, any plans to reopen, or what's happening with that now?
Yes, I'm not fully au fait with what they're doing at Pecorama, but the miniature railway, the Beer Heights Light Railway, has had some rebuilding work done over the last year. Obviously it gave them a great opportunity to do some upgrades and what have you that were necessary. The gardens, well, they've still kept on the gardeners, to keep the gardens in tip-top shape. And they still look pretty, excuse me. I think the old throat's getting a bit dry. To keep the gardens in tip-top shape. And as I said, I'm not sure what's happening to the restaurant, and the playroom has been turned into a factory annex. So the company are planning to reopen the site. I think it's this weekend or maybe next weekend. Where are we? We're about the 12th or 13th, aren't we? So we've just got to, I think it's the 17th, we've got to wait for some relaxation in the restrictions. So yes, there will be opening it again this season. It's a suck it and see type thing as well, because we've just got to keep eyes on the way the pandemic's going and work accordingly. But the plan is to open this season, and I think if you log on to the Pecorama Facebook page or the Peco website, you should be able to find some opening times, details, and prices, and also any guidelines as to what you should and shouldn't do.
Absolutely.
So, the Pecorama with the miniature railway, but without, as far as I know anyway, without the playroom, is to reopen this season.
Last time I visited the gardens, I was walking around and all I heard was Andy. At the time, and it was Michael working in the gardens. Michael Pritchard,
chairman, and the son of the Peco founder, Sidney Pritchard, of course. Well, Michael does love a bit of gardening, and whenever he can, he'll put on his wellies and go and dig the gardens. So he's not one of these highfalutin bosses who goes off playing golf or sunning himself on his yacht. He hasn't got a yacht, by the way. He likes to muck in with the rest of us and do a little bit of activity as well. So yes, he does like the gardens. It's as much a hobby as it is part of the business for him. And it's great to see him with his wellies on and his spade and his fork in his hand, doing some digging, looking in. And I'm sure we'll be seeing him doing more of that this year.
Absolutely. It definitely took me by surprise, to be fair. I didn't expect it. So, is there any going to be changes inside the visitor centre in terms of layout? So they've got new projects they're working on.
Inside the exhibition, you mean?
Yeah,
the model railway exhibition. I'm not sure if they've been building a new one, because I've not actually been in there myself for the best part of almost a year. On the occasions I visit the office, I whiz in up into the the editorial production office and pick bits and pieces up, and then whiz back here to get on with it. So I've not done a check of the exhibition, but again, whether they're opening that immediately or not, I'd have to check on the website myself. But there hasn't. I don't think there's been any major changes undertaken this year.
Okay. Stuart and Jason, I don't know if you remember from the virtual event, said thank you for your support with the virtual. Again, Warley as well, thank you for the support you gave us for the virtual event and for joining us with the, I think we called it Story Time from Steve.
Yeah, I think I managed to get the digital thing to work this time instead of doing it on telephone.
Absolutely, but it's great to have you part of the virtual event, and it's your birthday. We're doing another event on the 31st. It's your birthday, then, isn't it?
My birthday is the 31st of July. Yes.
Yes. So we could be having a birthday cake for you if you was to pop up.
Yeah, I think I'm probably here. What day of the week is it? I can't remember. Is it
just a Saturday?
It's a Saturday, is it? Right. Well, I don't. My calendar hasn't reached that far yet. So.
Okay.
So,
no pressure.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Yeah.
I'm sure we can blow the candles out for you if you can't come.
Right.
Again, put you on the spot. We've got some. I think I've spoken to you. Can we get some prizes for you for the raffle and?
Yes, from Peco, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, Peco or Modeler. Can you?
Yeah. When you say the raffle, which raffle are we talking about? The one
on the day? Yeah, we're going to do like a for charity and.
Yeah, I'll just make a note of that. I'm sure we can do something. Yeah, it's always worthwhile to keep our name in front of. Okay, raffle prizes. Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
That'd be brilliant.
We'll talk about that afterwards. Just to sort of what you want to do. Yeah.
I know I mentioned it to you before because I'm sure I've nagged you already. So.
Yeah. Well, it's always good, isn't it, to help out in all ways that we can, and perhaps by then, by the 31st, we might know what's happening at Warley.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. Yeah. Mark from Main Train Eastport is asking a question for you for Peco.
Yeah.
Will Peco introduce a modern type station building similar to the office buildings, but something we could make for the modern platform buildings?
It depends on modern platform, modern station building. There is,
because you've got the modern range, haven't you? The modern Peco Wheels modern range, haven't you? Now,
yeah, the station building kits that we've got do tend to be the traditional type. I think. Can you give me an example of one? Do you know? I can think of one. A modern type station building that appeared at Brough, just outside Hull, back about 10, 12 years ago, maybe 15 years ago now. They knocked down the old station building and built up a new style one with reduced facilities, of course, as is the way these days. Thirsk station, that had a new station structure, a similar type, I think, as well to the one that appeared at Brough. So what he's asking for is like a wayside station rather than a city station, isn't it?
I presume you mean some sort of prefab station building.
Yeah. Well, I can certainly pass that information on. So when he says modern, he means post steam age, doesn't he?
I think so. Yeah.
Yes. Anything that was built after steam had disappeared and then knocked down all the old infrastructure. So, and like at Brough on Humberside, the new station building probably didn't appear till this century, like sort of 30, 40 years after the steam age had gone. I think the station buildings they knocked down at Brough were probably built turn of last century, in 1906 to 1910 or something like that. So yeah, I'm sure a modern station building kit could well be on the cards.
Should I get him to send to me, Tom, images to that email address you gave earlier?
Yes, by all means. Yeah. We'll forward them to our product development department. That's
it. So, Mark, drop Steve an email on that email address, and I'm sure it'll be forwarded to him with some ideas.
To the product development department, and we'll see what we can come up with.
There you go. So there you go, Mark. If that helps, hopefully that will something different. I like using older buildings and then just adding a modern twist to them, because you tend to see a lot more of the traditional buildings still on the railway, even
Well,
even though they're
true. It is true. It depends where you go, of course. I mean, if you go to the ends of the network, Scotland or Cornwall or whatever, you still see a lot of the original buildings there, particularly in Scotland, which is a bit of a favourite of mine. All the station buildings there are nearly all the original Highland or North British or Caledonian structures, and they've stuck the bus shelter style on the opposite platform. And it's mainly the places like Reading that have had a complete makeover with almost a sort of space age type architecture, that would be more challenging, of course. But I'm sure recently I have seen a model based loosely on Reading, so it's not as if the scratch builders aren't bypassing modern stuff. They're certainly getting on with it. But yeah, it's interesting. So modern, shall we say, post steam age station kit. Yeah, we'll pass that on.
okay. We've got a fan club, Steve. Carol's just messaged, two of my favourite model railway people in one place. Hello, both.
What, Carol Flavin?
Yeah.
Yes. Hello, Carol. How are you doing? Yes, things are improving. Hopefully, with this pandemic, we might be out on the circuit again. Fingers crossed.
Carol's done a few articles for you, hasn't she?
She's done some articles for us. Yeah, that's right. She keeps sending us little bits and pieces as she's developing. She's certainly doing more modelling than I've been doing over the last few years, anyway. And that's good. That's good. It's really good. I'm really pleased. The girls are getting involved much more in this day and age. When I started, it was definitely a boys and man's activity.
Well, Carol's going to be at the show, hopefully in November.
I'm just going to have to pop for a glass of water. I've been talking too long. Okay, you keep talking.
I'll keep talking. So Carol's hoping to be at the show in November. She's got a couple of her ladies from local ladies taking part and coming along. So that'd be good to see. So if you want to meet Carol again, I don't know if she's going to do some more crochet trees for the event, especially. But again, it'd be good to see her and her team, or part of the team, in November. She'll have a demonstration. I'm not sure what she's going to be doing for the demonstration, but she'll be having a demonstration table all day. Thanks, Malcolm. I'm glad I'm glad of the support. Thanks very much. I'm concerned about your taste, Carol. Do you remember Malcolm Strong, Steve?
Malcolm Strong, yes.
He's commented, I'm concerned about your taste, Carol. So I don't know if that refers to you or me.
He's concerned what?
About Carol's taste.
Oh, in favourite modelers, probably. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
We shouldn't worry. We shouldn't worry.
No, I'm not concerned.
Right. Okay. Well,
Andy said Peco is one of our great British exports. Just out of interest, what proportions of Peco products is for export sales?
I wish I could answer that, but we do export to most countries around the world. Possibly the bigger ones, the what I hate to say it, but the more developed countries, rather than the sort of Africas and what have you, the ones that have hobbies as part of their culture. So yeah, we do export an awful lot around the world. Australia, New Zealand. I think some goes to India. I believe some of it even goes to Russia occasionally. America and other European countries. Yeah. But I don't know what the percentage is. I don't even know if our managers would want to keep that quiet either. So
okay.
I can't let on there. Sorry.
Yeah, you've got a very good selection of HO American Code 83, is it? Track. That's that's a very good selection there. You've got, which I saw in a local shop last time I went to a shop. But that seems to be developing
that's
well.
right. They've been developing the Code 83 range for a good few years now, and it's a good seller in the States, of course, and modelers over here use it too. So that is an aspect of our international, global activities. You know, we do sell a considerable amount of Code 83 American style to the US.
Okay. Carol said she's not going to be doing crochet trees for November, but she's planning on working on a moving cyclist Magna Rail as a demo in a Yorkshire village. So I think that's aimed at you, isn't it?
It's what?
A Yorkshire village Carol's doing. Is that aimed at you?
Well, I don't know. I've not been on a bike for a long time. But I would be interested to see that. Were you working on something like that?
Yeah, it's behind me. I just haven't had time the last couple of weeks. I had to wait for a second motor because it was a bit jumpy, only having one motor. Because it was okay with the pulling, but when it comes to pushing the vehicles, it didn't like it as much.
Right.
The pushing was okay, but it didn't like the pulling. So I've got to add a second motor in and see if I can get it to run a bit smoother. But I'm working with vehicles rather than a bike, so it's a bit more of a pull on the chain.
Yes, absolutely. But let's have a look at Carol's cyclist when she gets it working. That's
absolutely. So, but
interesting development and something that you would never have dreamed of, 50 odd years ago when I started in the hobby.
Absolutely. So Andy said Peco is massive in America. Would be nice to see more HO stuff from Peco.
Well, do you mean, what does he mean by more HO stuff? Buildings or wagons?
I presume kits. I presume.
Pardon?
I presume he means kits and the models to go with it.
This is American outline type kits.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. Well. I mean, obviously, is he from America then, or is he just an American modeler? This Andy.
I don't know. He hasn't said. He's just. Hopefully, if he's watching, he'll answer that question for us, and we can throw that in really.
Anything's possible if it's viable in terms of making a kit or even a laser cut, a low run kit. Anything's viable along in those lines, but it all depends on what else is available in the marketplace, etc. So duplication is best to be avoided if possible. But if there's something, if there's a gap in the market, then that's certainly something that can be taken on board.
Because there's quite a few people that do American kits anyway, isn't there, on the market? It's not like you can't get them, so yes, they are available.
There's certainly plenty out there, yeah. But I mean, that's fair comment. We'll pass the information on. Good
man. So apart from obviously, we had a look at your wagon you've been building. Have you got a layout in the pipeline, or are you working on anything at the moment?
Well, I have got a couple of layouts in the pipeline. One is a 009 layout, which I've been working on. The baseboards are almost up and ready, but progress is very slow. I did buy the track about 3 months ago, but I haven't got around to laying it yet. I'm trying to conquer these servos, without, the servo SG90 that a lot of people have taken on board, and they operate the points with them. I've been trying to conquer them, but I want to try to do it without having to rely on these Arduinos or microprocessor, what do you call them, microcontroller boards that Merg and lots of other people do. Whether I can achieve this or not, I don't know, but I've been fiddling around with the circuit for a long time. And trying to get the servos. I can get the servos to move, but there's obviously a little bit of interference in the circuit somewhere. noise or whatever it's called. It causes the servos to chatter a little bit.
Yeah.
So I shall keep persevering. It's just one of those little things. If I can make a servo run without having to use some sort of microcontroller circuit or Arduino or something, I'll be very happy with that.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to guarantee that I'll achieve it.
Maybe talk to Alan as well, because Alan's into Merg. Alan Turner.
Well, they made me an honorary member of Merg as well, which is rather interesting. I'm not contributed anything to them yet, so perhaps I ought to talk to some of the people at Merg and see what they say. But Merg actually do a couple of these servo control boards as kits, but they do utilise these little microcontroller chips that have to be programmed with some code off a source code editor on a computer. And that's what I'm trying to avoid. Now, the Merg microcontrollers are pre-programmed anyway. They have some guru at Merg, possibly Mike Bolton, who programs these things. So the ordinary end of line user doesn't have to worry about it. But I'm challenged by the fact that I want to try to do it to operate these servos without the need to recourse to a microcontroller or Arduino board or something. But you never know, I might not be able to do it, because I mean, my electrical knowledge dates back to the 1970s when I studied it at college, so it's a bit out of date, but the principles are still the same. You know, you still got the formulas: V equals IR. Do you remember that at school? Voltage equals current times resistance. You know, all those fundamentals are still the same. So in theory, I ought to be able to get there.
Good. Andy's come back and said he's a British modeler. He models American outline.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yes. And, well, I mean, the American modelling market in this country is a lot smaller, of course, than the British modelling market. So whether we, Peco, would be willing to invest in that area or not, I don't know, because you know, there's got to be a sufficient demand to make it viable, and most people in the UK are British outline in one way or the other. So I'll certainly, you know, when I can talk to Steve Haynes about the idea and see what he's got to say.
Okay, Malcolm is saying, I recommend anyone doing 009 to join the 009 Society.
Right. Well, that's a very valid recommendation, definitely. I mean, I do read the 009 news every month because we get it in the office. Although I've missed a few this last year, and the editor of 009 News is Chris Ford, who we've just engaged as an associate editor at Railway Modeller. So I've got a pretty good insight into 009 modelling. And I did do a little bit way back in 1972, in the early 70s. And I've still got some of the models as well. You never chuck out, do you? You know.
No. Are they in boxes ready to be built?
It's what?
Are they still in boxes ready to be built?
No. There were some little scratch-built wagons using. Do you remember I think it was a little skip wagon. Was it mini tricks or mini trains or something? And you could take the hopper off and cut the underframe in two and make longer wagons out of it. And that's what I did. I built some Irish narrow gauge type. I'm going to have to check to see if I've still got them in one of those boxes in them cupboards behind. Yeah. But no, this will be a North of England narrow gauge layout when it gets you know, progressed a bit more.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to find. Yeah. Another question: with the news of Hornby documentary coming to the screens, is there any more on the Great Model Railway Challenge? Another question we get asked all the time.
Well, I mean, yes, the great. I don't know about when's the Hornby documentary coming out.
Is it the end of the year? Is it October, November? Is it like, I'm assuming it's going to be a fly in the wall documentary like they did last time with.
Well, it's all good publicity for the hobby. The Great Model Railway Challenge. Well, I think that's probably possibly been stymied a little bit by the COVID pandemic because, as you know, if you watched it, it involved lots of people working close together, in an enclosed space, which defied all restrictions that the government brought in. So that was. It was on a shaky wicket as a result of that. I do know that similar competition type programs are being prepared in the Netherlands and in Germany. So whether our production company, the production company who made the Great Model Railway Challenge, sold the formula, the program formula to these companies abroad, I don't know, and I've not heard from the production company in 12 months, and I've not felt the need to pester them either, because one of their programs that they made was called GPs Behind Closed Doors. Now, they managed to produce another new series only last autumn. How on earth they did that, I don't know. But I felt that these TV people had enough on the plate in the pandemic without me pestering them.
Yeah.
There was going to be another Great Model Railway Challenge. But it certainly generated a lot of interest in a lot of areas where we don't usually reach with magazines and shows.
Yeah.
And it really was a great initiative. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was, shall we say, slightly outside my comfort zone with some of the things that they asked me to do, but no, it was good fun, and we will just have to wait and see if any of the TV companies thinks it's viable. But interestingly, there is a lot about railways, the full size thing, on the channels all the time these days, 24/7 at Paddington and the world's greatest scenic railways. They're fantastic. Railways seem to have become a TV subject like never before. If you go back, to our younger days, trains and that sort of stuff never made the telly, unless it was a crash or a great train robbery or something.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
So yeah, all these things are out there, but whether the Great Model Railway Challenge will come back or not, I'm afraid I have no idea.
So David's saying he doesn't normally read Railway Modeller, but he does enjoy Continental Modeller. So how much are you involved with Continental Modeller?
Well, Andrew Burnham, the editor, does a sterling job there, because he's currently virtually doing that single-handedly at the moment, and has been for the last 12 months. I mean, obviously, we have a bit of cross-fertilisation, and prior to me being editor of Railway Modeller, I was involved quite a lot in the production of photographs of layouts and visiting the Nuremberg trade show once a year. But things have moved on, and I had a lot more to do on the Railway Modeller. So my, shall we say, involvement with Continental Modeller has been somewhat reduced in recent times. But we're there to support it. And as I say, Andrew, the editor, does an absolutely sterling job. And how he does it virtually single-handedly, I don't really know. But he does a grand job.
Stuart's saying with the Great Model Railway Challenge, it's been great for the juniors and getting younger people into the hobby. And we definitely noticed that at the show. And I think Carol's layout at the show 2 years ago was absolutely packed with youngsters wanting to talk to her and meet the ladies and ask questions. That's got to be good for the hobby again, hasn't it? Really?
Well, absolutely. But it's whether we can persuade or whether the companies can latch onto it again. I mean, strangely enough, there's all sorts of great so-and-so challenges appearing on the TV at the moment. You've got sewing bee. There was something else I saw the other night. I can't even remember what topic it was. And then there's the program about the workshop where old bits and bobs are repaired. So all these handicraft type hobbies, and railway modelling is a handicraft type hobby, creative hobby, are capturing the TV companies, and there's lots of TV companies out there. So we just have to wait and see. I believe that Callum Wilcox has been involved in a bit of filming for another company, but I've not heard anything more about that. So we'll have to wait and see if there's a program or two coming out. And one of the Great Model Railway Challenge competitors was also involved in this program. So something must be coming off in the not too distant future.
Okay. Well, the other thing we did around the virtual event was we had the kids competition for the photo plant, didn't we? And that was successful. We had some really good entries.
Is it going to happen again? Is that what you want?
I don't know. A possibility we could. I know we've got we're doing a little mini competition for the open day at the end of July, but we had some very good entries that submitted for the modeler competition last November. And again, it was good to get kids involved in the day, and I think you and Kathy had a difficult job of judging that. It wasn't an easy judge.
Yes. Fortunately, the modelling standards was generally a good right across the board, and of course with youngsters, it's always a bit difficult to pick one out against another because you're not quite sure what their hopes and expectations are as well, and to dash them, I always find a little bit tricky. We do, of course, in the Railway Modeller have this section at the back, which is basically for sort of newcomers and the less experienced, which we call the Railway Modelling Explored section. It comes out every month, and this month we have Lily Rayton, who was a granddaughter of Les Nerlich. Now, Les Nerlich is a Preston Model Railway Club exhibition organiser, has been for years, and of course he's persuaded his granddaughter. I think it was his granddaughter that persuaded him to run to help her build a layout, and this is what she came up with Granddad's help, and that's in the back of the magazine. And we've always been trying to keep young people in that section. It doesn't happen every month, of course. It reflects something that we had in Railway Modeller many years ago called Junior Modeller, which was for the juniors in the hobby. So any youngster out there, under 20 or whatever, who's building a model railway, we've got an ideal slot for you in the magazine there. And I appreciate that people can pop their product up on YouTube or whatever, but I'm often told that there's nothing quite like the accolade of having it in print on the bookshelves, so you get 35,000 people and more reading it, and it's a permanent record as well, and it's paper. You only have to put the light on if it's dark. You don't need to charge up your iPad or your computer. It's there to read, and you can read it wherever you are. So yeah, by all means, let's hear about your projects at Railway Modeller for young people, and we'll see what we can do for you. We're always keen to help promote it to a younger audience, as well as our regular readers who are more like, well, sort of my age and your age.
So again, another request: younger modeller, send the email to that email address.
Yes, yeah. Pop that email address up again. And younger modelers, if you've got a layout that you want to see in the Railway Modeler, send us in your material and we'll see what we can do.
Brilliant.
Right.
There you go. I'll see if we've got any more questions for you before you disappear. So Carol's commented.
Days today, that's true. So I'll have to pop off and do a bit of work in a minute. Yeah.
You can't hide all day.
No.
Carol's put, I'm really looking forward to my grandchildren coming to the house to see the layout at home. Believe it or not, I've sent them 52 weekly videos of progress in developing her layout.
Yes, she does that, doesn't she? Yes, yeah. And it'll soon be time, hopefully, fingers crossed, for us all to get back together again. Carol, send us the story with a few photographs once you get that group meeting again with your family. Tell us how it went, and it'll make a nice little human interest story as well as a modelling story in the magazine. So let's hear about it once it's happened. Love to.
Stuart's saying we'll pass that on to the MRYC juniors, to the junior group. So you may get, hopefully we'll get some interest from them. And I'll pass the same on to the Warley juniors as well.
Yeah.
To get, to send items to you. So Jason's asking, how's production of Peco products coping with the current vast increase in demand?
Well, I think we've already explained that, haven't we? We've had to wait for things from suppliers. We've spread our manufacturing people around the site so they can cope with social distancing arrangements, and we are doing our utmost to ensure that the orders are fulfilled as quickly as possibly can. It's not been an easy time, but we're getting there.
Okay. Andy's put, National Model Railway Association now has its youngest ever president, and he is a Brit. That's good stuff.
That's the NMRA.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, the American Modelers Association, yeah.
He's saying, if you need any help with American stuff, let me know.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So
if he's got some ideas for American products, let us know. Yeah.
Yeah. So send it to that email address we put up a few seconds ago. So that's great. Well, we've been on for just over an hour, Steve. So thank you so much for joining us.
That's my pleasure. Yeah, and my job, I suppose, to talk about these things. Yeah.
But you're also a Warley member as well, so it's good to have.
Yeah, sorry, I should have put my badge on, shouldn't I?
Okay. You got your Warley badge.
I forgot to get my badge out. Mr. Jones will reprimand me next time he sees me.
Well, hopefully we'll get you back in the club room at some point and another visit, because it's been a while since you've we've been able to get you up there, and hopefully we'll see you in. If we don't see you in July, we'll see you in November.
Well, in the not too distant future, let's put it that way.
That's it. Well, thanks again, Steve.
That's great. Lovely to talk to you. And I hope we've managed to inspire somebody out there to do a bit of model making.
Absolutely. Well, right. Thanks, Steve.
Cheers, then. I'll get back to work now.
Good man. Don't let me stop you. See you soon.
Bye then.
See ya. Well, there you go. That was Steve Flint from Peco. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get him up to the club rooms on the 31st of July. I know it's his birthday, so I think Stuart's offered to bake him a cake with candles. If not, we'll get. I'm sure we can blow the candles out on his behalf, and we'll, hopefully we'll get some prizes off Peco. We can use for the competitions that are going on during the day, the raffles. So, if you're available, potential Warley, maybe you want to join Warley. If you want to get involved with MRYCG, join up for both, and then come and see us on the 31st. Should be a good day. We've got some fantastic modelers lined up. We've got Martin WWS, we've got Sam Jones, we've got Tim Cooper, and now we've got Guion, who's counting rivets, all taking part in the modelling competition for adult members on the day. And then we've got the junior competition, which has been done beforehand. If you want to build, if you're between 10 and 15 to 20, get involved, build yourself a little diorama using the scale model scenery baseboards, which Justin's going to do for half price. So it will only cost you £4.50 for the baseboard. Maximum £10 spend on the rest of the diorama. So if you got grandkids, kids, friends of friends who've got kids, get them to get involved. It's free to enter. All you have to do is build it between now and July. Bring it on the day if you can. Bring it to the club room and it'll be judged. There's a competition we're going to announce. A special competition we're going to announce hopefully this weekend or this Friday for kids to take part in. So I can't say too much, but we're going to announce that on Friday, which should be a fantastic day. So it's open to all Warley members, potential Warley members, or members at MRYCG. Come along, 31st of July, first chance to get out, hopefully to a group meet, and we'll see you then. So that's it from me today. We've done just over an hour. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Hopefully we'll be back next week with something with someone else on. I'll try and work that out. And I'm just working with Martin at the moment, so hopefully have a dual stream with Martin WWS, which we're going to do as soon as lockdown restrictions allow. We're going to be doing something in South Wales with Martin. So hopefully further news of that will come out soon. But watch this space. But it should be an interesting build and something a bit different, which is what we like to do. So thanks again for joining us. Thanks for getting involved. Thanks for all the people asking questions. Remember, like and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything to hit the subscribe button, and then you'll get updates of the show as soon as we know more. And this is probably the first place you'll find anything out. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again.